welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys. Now, before Sarah says anything, Sarah is still getting over the flu. She's a bit nasally, and I think she's given a bit to me, but the show must go on, so we're going to struggle through our podcast this evening. If you get the odd little funny little break here which doesn't go too good, this means we've had to add that coughs and blowing noses, okay?
Right.
So it's not a production fault, it's just the way it is.
Yes. So tonight we're reviewing Return of the Jedi that was released in 1983. One of my absolute favorites as a kid, and to this day is still one of my favorites.
I mean, this is obviously we did Star Wars 4, New Hope.
Yeah.
Star Wars 5, which was The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Now the Star Wars 6, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, the sixth installment in this
and technically
sort of movie.
the closing down of the story. We're putting it all together in one little neat ball of wax, so to speak.
And I've talked to a number of people on Facebook and YouTube, and they all agree with me that Return of the Jedi remains to be the best conclusion of this franchise.
I think it worked well. The New Hope, I believe, it's a good standalone movie. But it left itself open for a sequel.
Yep.
Hence, through the Empire Strikes Back. And the same thing, it could have been left how it was.
I agree. Would you mind?
But what happened? They left the door open for a sequel. So the idea is that the concept went through the three movies. It took the start of the first movie to the end of the last movie was the full story. So it was about 6.5 hours worth of filming to tell the whole story. So you're going to get lulls and peaks over the three movies. And I think this here is like the climax to the three.
Exactly so, Mike.
Yeah. Anyway, here we go.
Yeah, and I used to call this Star Wars movie Space Bears.
Well, when she was a child.
When I was little, because there was these Ewok teddy bears running around. They didn't ever...
They looked like little teddies.
Even though they didn't exactly give you the name of them right away, only a few fandoms who probably took the liberty of took steps to find out what these creatures were.
Small Wookiees.
Or small Ewoks. I used to call them Space Bears before they even came up with the
well, we didn't
concept.
know what they're called, so we just called, what Space Bears tonight. Yeah, that's what's there. Anyway, here we go.
Go on.
Production company, Lucasfilm Limited. Produced by Howard Kazanjian, whatever. Directed by Richard Marquand, whatever. Screenplay by George Lucas and Lawrence Kasdan. I think Lawrence wrote the other ones, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Just the second one, I mean.
And this one's set about a year after the other one finishes. They've been looking for where Han Solo was taken, and that's where this movie starts, sort of. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Now, budget. As with George Lucas's two previous movies, the budget's in between 30 and 40 mil. And this one, the same thing. About $40 million to make this movie. They saved a bit of money on post-production using industrial light and magic, which helped. They saved a few bucks. And at box office, about 475 mil, which is nothing to sneeze at. Now, people say, oh, it wasn't as good as the other movies. That's why it made so little money at the box office. Yeah. Now, cast. Mark Hamill returns as Luke Skywalker.
Yay.
Harrison Ford returns as Han Solo. We thought we were going to get rid of him in the last movie, but no. Harrison Ford is a trooper.
Yes.
And he wanted to do the right thing by Lucasfilm. Yeah.
I'm glad he did return and that he didn't walk away.
Well, he could have. He wasn't under contract for the extra movies. They may have had to replace him. But see, that's why they killed him off in the Return the Empire Strikes Back.
They tried to.
They put him in the carbonite. Now, they could have left him in carbonite and had a different storyline, but let's resurrect him and bring him into the third movie.
The one thing I like about these installments, unlike other installments in the past, like people who made their own versions of franchises, And some of them don't really follow through with the story because they
No.
continue going in different directions, or
Yeah,
they bring in new characters and
It's
they
tough.
forget about the old characters. This is when it comes to Star Wars, they always go through the continuation.
They should,
all
because
through.
it is a story.
Yeah, they
It's
don't.
a continuing story. It's like watching a soap opera. The same people week in, weekend out, whatever, goes on and on and on. Like Neighbours in Australia has been going on for decades.
Yeah.
It's getting ready, finished. Thank God.
Yeah, because a lot of other franchises before this, they would just forget about the past character in the last episode, kill them off, or not kill them off, just make them forgotten.
Or push them off in the background somewhere so people will forget them by the following instalment.
Anyway, moving on.
Now, Carrie Fisher returns as Leia, or Princess Leia. I should use a formal title for Princess Leia Organa, but it's not really a princess. A planet doesn't exist anymore. Has gone. She can't be the daughter of the king of a dead planet who's
But then again,
not there anymore. So
it doesn't matter at
Anyway,
this point.
sure,
She's called Lady Organa, and she's one of the leaders of the Rebel Alliance.
She's sort of one of the leaders. Yeah. Now Billy D. Williams, he returns as Landau Calrissian. I love Billy D. He's an interesting actor.
Yeah, and I'm glad he plays a big part in this production too.
He does. No, he did. They didn't squash him. Anthony Daniels returns as C-3PO. Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca, the Wookiee who needs a severe haircut and a bit of go to the old the pooch parlour and get a shampooch and a bit of flea powder and stuff. Kenny Baker returns as R2D2, who a little garbage can with wheels. Here we go. Ian McDermott plays the Emperor. Now, this is the first time the Emperor's actually had a moving part. He was in the other one as a hologram.
Yes.
Here's a bit of story about this one. The Emperor, played by Ian McDermott, he wasn't the first choice. Alan Webb was originally cast in this role, but he dropped out due to illness. Then Lindsay Anderson was offered the role, but he declined due to scheduling conflicts. And Ben Kingsley and David Shishett were also considered. So he was like, "Oh, you'll do." No, not sorry. I didn't mean it again. But the point is, they went through a few people trying to find the right guy to create a good visual effect.
Yeah.
He had to be a really nasty piece of action. And I think Ian did a really good job.
Yeah.
Now, Frank Oz returns as Yoda, only for a short time because Yoda passes away. I know it's a bit of a... I shouldn't have said that, but now David Prowse, he returns as Darth Vader. James Earl Jones as the Darth Vader's voice. Alec Guinness has a bit part as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, a small part too.
I believe Alec Guinness' eyesight was going by this time and had to do his filming separately and stuff and just superimpose him a bit because he wasn't very well. He couldn't stand bright lights.
Yeah, this was done in a 1 day of bit of filming. Yeah, just the same, I could say for Empire Strikes Back.
And anyway, and here is one I wasn't going to mention. He's only a bit part at the end of the movie. A gentleman by the name of Sebastian Shaw. He plays Anakin Skywalker. Or Darth Vader when he takes his helmet off and returning to the good side, not the dark side. Yeah. So when he takes his helmet off, that is not David Prowse. It's Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah, actually, this is an interesting story behind that part. David Prowse, the guy who did the body image of Darth Vader, he wasn't aware that they were going to do an ultimate reveal of Darth Vader's face.
Yeah,
and
I
he didn't. And he was a bit surprised when Sebastian, that guy, was going to come on board as the face stubble for Darth Vader.
Now, it would have been nice to have David Prowse do it, but maybe
it was just
they're looking for an image.
Yeah, exactly.
You're looking for an image, and they thought, "Oh, he's the image looking for, not David Prowse." So David Prowse was in a mask all the way through the movies.
Well, as I said before, this is George Lucas's imagination.
I know,
and it was probably it's probably detailed in the script that Darth Vader's face would be mutated and
make up and cover that sort of stuff, and prosthetics and stuff, bit of latex. But the point still remains is they may have been looking for a particular image, and David Prowse's features may not have lent to that.
Exactly.
Does not matter. Anyway, I'm going to not talk too much. I'm just going to talk a bit later on about production and stuff, and as I normally do. So, Sarah, do you want to jump into the plot?
Yes, so I'll begin. Where we left off, Boba Fett, he takes Han Solo, who's in Carbonite, to Jabba the Hutt's palace, where Jabba the Hutt is praised by that he's got what he wanted, Han Solo in his possession, yada yada yada. Now it's up to Luke and Leia and Lando to try to rescue him. So they send off C-3PO and R2-D2 to negotiate terms, sort of like an ambassador, whatever you may call it. Sort of.
Well, R2-D2 had a video recording of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, so they send the droids along to Jabba's palace, where, in turn, the R2-D2 sends the message, or tells, plays the message. And Luke says that he wants to bargain for Han Solo's life.
And in good faith,
but
I'm going to give you these
Han
nice gifts.
laughs off the whole thing and says he'll be glad to accept the gifts, but other than that, he's not going to negotiate.
And the gifts were the two robots. The two droids, man.
So he's not going to negotiate. That means that he's not going to hand over Han with no thoughts across. And Han's still frozen carbonite, meaning he doesn't want anything. He doesn't want a living prisoner, which makes me think.
You got to feed him and stuff, and put him on wages, but you got to feed him, clean up after him.
C-3PO and R2-D2 are placed in job roles. C-3PO is become the interpreter, and
he's programmed to understand 6 million types of communication. Whatever. He keeps telling everybody.
R2 is placed as a bar waiter.
A waiter on the sail barge and different things. He's very good at it. Just the right height. The tray fits just on top, just to the right height to grab your Bundy or your Jack Daniels or whatever.
Anyway, so we get back to Jabba the Hutt's throne room. Now his throne room, he makes me think of probably the Arabian Nights type of throne room.
It looks to me, it's a cross between something like an Arabian Nights feel.
Yeah.
A very down, shoddy one.
With dancing
and a
girls
mafia
and
king.
stuff.
And a mafia king.
Yeah, that's what I think of, because there's the dancing girls, the band, the music. Maybe not the music.
He's an Nazi overlord. He's like a criminal boss. So,
more criminal boss, like mafia leader meets...
Lawrence of Arabia.
Exactly. Anyway, soon enough, a guest arrives. It turns out to be a bounty hunter who has Chewbacca in his possession, and he plans on selling Chewie.
Getting the bounty.
Getting the bounty on Chewie, because Chewie's worth $15,000, I think,
or whatever, or credits, or whatever they use.
Yeah, of course, this guy says he wants $50,000 for the bounty.
And they negotiate down.
Yeah, they've negotiated down to 35, I think it was.
Oh, whatever it is,
Yeah, because the guy was tempted to bomb the place. He's got a detonator.
A little grenade type thing in his hand.
Yeah, Jabba the Hutt admires this bounty hunter.
I like your type of scum.
Says, you're my type of scum, and I'll be glad to reward you the $30,000, if you accept. Eventually, the bounty says, sure.
Okay.
And then Chewie's taken away into a prison cell, and we see him later on. Anyway, then they start partying on a little bit more. Then later that night, when everyone's asleep, the same bounty hunter approaches the carbonated Han Solo and turns the machine off and allows Han to be defrosted.
Mm-hmm. And he does.
Yes, as it turns out, when Han falls out, he's still suffering from...
Carbonite blindness.
Yeah.
You can't see squatto.
And then the bounty hunter reveals that she's none other than Princess Leia. And they kiss, and Han... And Leia tries to sneak him away, but we get a ha-ha-ha.
Ho, 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 ho. And the curtain pulls aside, and there's Chewbacca and his cohorts going... Fooled you, ha ha.
No, it's Jabba the Hutt who soared through the act, and he quickly sends Han away to this prison cell where Chewie's waiting for him, and Leia is become the replacement servant. Well,
he killed a girl early on, so He made her strip down into a slave girl's uniform, and I must admit, Carrie Fisher looks pretty damn hot in it.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, Carrie.
It is stretched down from what Carrie Fisher's character would normally wear. Well,
she looked really good in that. Actually,
I imagine guys were drooled over it back
well, I
then.
did. The first time I saw it, hey, not bad.
Not really my cup of tea because I'm a girl.
Well, you're a girl, yeah. That's okay.
Anyway, soon enough, Luke arrives to save the day. Try to save the day by saving his friends. Of course, Jabba the Hutt.
That guy, the fat guy.
He doesn't want to bargain. He says that your Jedi mind tricks won't work on me, boy. Type attitude. And then suddenly, with quick succession, Luke gets zapped down into the pit below.
And he's a dinosaur-type creature called a Rancor.
Yeah. Oh, I should mention, Lando Calrissian, he's actually sort of undercover in this.
Yeah, he's dressed up and he's got a mask on type thing. He looks like one of the little bounty hunter type guys or whatever.
He actually looks like a samurai, a real detailed samurai.
Like a samurai type helmet.
He's wearing the hat and he's wearing the mask that resembles like what samurais would have worn back then in the olden days. As I said before, George Lucas likes to mix and ping different cultures into the production. One of the things that we lack.
Actually mix you into the production if you start talking about it.
Anyway, soon enough, quickly, Luke uses his special skills to fight the creature, and he eventually crushes the creature using the door.
Yeah, he hits a control which drops this big metal door with prongs on it, and it breaks the little creature's neck. And the keeper is very upset about his pet. He's going, boo-hoo, I'm out of a job.
Of course, Jabba the Hutt is really infuriated and says,
"You killed my pet."
Yeah, he demands that Solo the Wookiee and Luke will suffer for what they've done.
We're going to take him out to the desert and feed him to the big wormy thing called a sarlacc.
Yeah. So anyway, so they head out that way, and it makes me think of a boat or a barge.
It's his barge. It's a hover barge, obviously.
Yeah.
And it floats, and you got a bar on it, and you have drinkies and everything else.
Yeah. Anyway, Leia's there. On the main barge.
In her lovely, almost wet clothes things she's wearing. It's very nice.
Han's eyesight continues to not improve much.
No, it improves a little bit. Instead of getting a dull, dark blur, it's a lighter blur now. It's getting a little bit better.
Yeah, of course, Luke reminds him there's nothing to see. He still lives there. He used to live here.
I grew up here. I was born here. He said, you're going to die here.
Very convenient, huh?
Yeah, very good.
Of course, Luke, as a Jedi, he's optimistic that they'll get out of this without a problem.
He had a plan.
Yes. He then tries his last chance at bargaining with Jabba the Hutt. He says, "Free us or die." Of course, they laugh it off and think,
"Ho, bloody ho!" Yeah.
You and what army is probably what Jabba does. Anyway,
and guess what?
What?
He did it.
R2-D2, who's got Luke's lightsaber, the new one, inside his head, and shoots it out,
like
and then
cannon.
like quick speed, Luke grabs it and starts tacking the
guards and everything else,
yeah.
and then a little battle ensues, and the guards fall down into the Sarlacc's mouth instead of the prisoners.
Yeah. And despite
and the bounty hunter, what's his name coming?
Jabba Boba the Fett.
Boba Fett.
Despite what everyone keeps saying, and despite the TV series, I still think he died.
He did. He fell down to the Sarlacc's mouth. He did not resurrect. He died.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So Leia eventually kills Jabba the Hutt with her own chain. I think it was really cool.
She was chained to Jabba so she couldn't get away. So she got a chain wrapped around his fat old neck and strangled him.
Yeah.
And I knew he was dead because his tail stopped moving.
Yeah, and then R2 uses his laser to cut through the chain. And he helps C-3PO deal with this little gremlin. Gremlin?
Oh, it looks a little critter like a gremlin. Yeah, we don't know what it is.
Anyway, he zaps him, and then
he's a bit of a pussy,
and
isn't he?
both C-3PO and R2-D2 end up falling into the sand.
Well, they have to get off the barge before they destroy it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I thought it was hilarious when they both fell out. It was so funny.
Well, no. R2D2 pushed C3PO off the barge because he's, what are we going to do now? And so pushed him off and ended up falling in the sand, and R2 just drove off the barge and landed in the sand. He's not stupid, he's brave.
So quickly, Luke activates the gun, and Leia and Luke swing across to the speeder, the other barge, the small mini barge.
The small one where to go.
And
where the prisoners were.
Yeah, they quickly pick up the robots, and then they head off to their separate ships.
Well, where they're going to, yeah. And at this point in time, Luke decides to go back to visit an old friend.
Mm-hmm. So
Santa Claus. No.
Meanwhile, while all this is happening, Darth Vader is greeting the Emperor, his own master, Emperor Palpatine. That's
Yes, El Palpatine.
Yeah,
El Saltine, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, and he talks about how the Death Star is all on schedule and all that stuff, and Emperor Palpatine says you're doing well, and now you can continue your search for young Skywalker.
Kill him.
No, he doesn't want him killed.
No, he wanted him killed, but then Darth Vader said, "What if we can turn him?" He said, "If you can turn him, bring him to me."
Yeah, in Emperor Strikes Back, that's what his plan was, and that's their goal in this movie. Try to get him to be turned to the dark side of the Force.
Yeah, if not, kill him.
Yeah, and then the Emperor laughs it off like he was just won the lottery. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Creepy old man, isn't he?
Yeah, back to Dagobah. This time, Luke has landed properly.
He knew where he was going this time.
Yeah, hopefully using the Force, being guided down the right.
And the GPS, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, he then sees Yoda. He's feeling sluggish.
Yeah, he's not very well. He turned a bit green, didn't he?
Yeah, it's sad. Yeah. And of course,
as a joke, he turned green.
I know.
He was green to start with.
I get it, but it is sad watching this moment.
Yeah,
and
he's dying.
And Luke asks him. Luke asks him the big question: is Darth Vader his dad? And Yoda says,
"Your mother is not."
And Yoda says, "Your father is." And Luke is stunned and shocked and doesn't know what to think. And
he never even sent me a Christmas card.
And the fact that he hasn't completed his training yet, but Yoda says no more training do you acquire, and all you need to know is what you need.
What he got already is what you need.
And Luke assumes that's it. Am I a Jedi?
Almost.
Almost. But
missed by that much.
But Yoda says the only way to complete your training is to face Darth Vader. I don't know what happens if you were a Jedi Knight
and Darth Vader wasn't hanging around.
And if Darth Vader wasn't around, or any other type of dark Sith,
there would be some other thing to test your integrity.
Yeah, I guess that would be it.
I think the thing is that he has to face the nature of the dark side to show he's strong enough to follow the way of the light. How's that?
That makes sense. I often kept wondering, if you were a Jedi Knight, what if there was no one to face? What if there's no Darth Lord or Dark Sith to encounter?
Okay.
Well, maybe.
Well, make it hard, don't you?
What?
You make it hard, don't you? Set him in a hologram room. I don't care.
Anyway, Yoda tells him that there is another Skywalker before he dies. And, well, not before, dies, but you know what I mean. He says that to Luke that there's another person that's in your family that's a Skywalker and all that stuff.
And he wasn't sure then?
Yeah, once Yoda's dead, he disappears.
He becomes one of the Force, the same way Obi-Wan did in the first movie.
Yeah, he heads outside and he watches from a distance Yoda's hut and the lights go out, and it makes me think how sad that is, and he approaches R2 and says he tells him, I can't do it, I can't go alone, and then Obi-Wan says, Yoda will always be with you. And then he approaches Obi-Wan and asks him, why didn't you tell me Vader betrayed? Why did you tell me that Vader betrayed and murdered my father when he didn't?
When he was really my father.
Yeah, but then Obi-Wan explains that Darth Vader ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader, and that but when this happened, the
He
good
ceased,
man
yeah.
of that was his father was
Effectively
destroyed.
were destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the evil Darth Vader took his place. So
Yeah.
what a load of crap.
Yeah.
Dad's dad, good or bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so Obi-Wan
He
goes
lied.
on about how he used when he knew knew Luke's father. He was already a great pilot, but he was amazed how strong the Force was with him, and he took it upon himself to train him as a Jedi. But he thought he could do it as well
like
as Yoda,
and
but he wasn't.
wrong.
So Anakin goes on to becoming more machine than man,
Well, he's
twisted
been
and
cut
evil.
Yeah, something like that. You sound like you're reading the text out, the script or something or other.
Yeah, something like that. Or the second or third script, doesn't
Whatever.
matter. Anyway,
He's more machine now.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Luke feels like he doesn't have the energy to kill his father or have the emotions to kill him.
Then the Emperor's won.
You are our only hope. Then Luke says, Yoda spoke of another. And Obi-Wan says, the other he spoke of is your
yours.
twin sister.
And he said, Leia. Ah.
Leia
I
is
hope
his
they hadn't had sex in the
twin
last
sister.
movie.
No, don't be disgusting.
Well, I was going to say, you think they were getting up pretty
Oh,
close and up close and personal again.
Murder me.
That would be...
Do you have to make this all about sex? You
No,
know,
but it was implying they were
you
getting
disgusting little thing.
Well, and it was little. Have you seen it?
Don't be rude.
Oh, sorry, but no, I'm just saying that they were implying they were getting close together in the last movie.
Yeah, in a boyfriend and girlfriend
it's been
sense.
a year later.
Well, Leia was pretty much. She was spoken for. She was spoken for by Han. In her mind, her hormones was calling out to Han Solo.
Well, yeah, but he was a scruffy old looking nerf herder, wasn't it? Or something
Yeah,
like that?
but she started growing to like him and can't see herself with anyone else except him for a time.
Well, I just hope.
Anyway,
I hope
so Obi-Wan tells
wrong.
Luke to bury his feelings for his sister and his friends deep down, because his feelings and his thoughts for them will do him credit, but they
However,
might be able to be served for the Emperor.
Yes, the Emperor might use them against him somehow or other.
Which it
Exactly.
does happen eventually. Moving on, the Rebel Alliance are just making their final plans of their last final battle against the Emperor and the new second Death Star.
Yeah, they're rebuilding. They're very fast builders. You're trying to get something built nowadays. How do you
Yeah,
build
somehow
a thing?
the second Death Star is a lot bigger than the first.
It's bigger. Not totally complete. I had a few panels missing off the backside of it. However,
But they have a battle station that's on Endor that allows, I guess, a little bit of an energy boost from that.
Well, it's got a protective shield, a force shield.
Yeah.
Now that's one thing that gets me as
Go on.
strange.
Go on.
The other Death Star can travel through space and visit other galaxies and blow the crap out of planets and whatever, right? Mm-hmm. This one has been protected by a force field generator on this little planet, or a moon or something or other, and it can't go anywhere. So what bloody good is it?
I don't know.
It's
Anyway,
got no wheels.
so that's its weakness. I think one of the weaknesses. Once the
Well, maybe it's not fully operational that way yet.
See,
Yeah.
once that little station is destroyed, then the Rebel Alliance would be able to fly inside the Death Star and be able to blow it up from there.
And it won't be little torpedoes down the exhaust chute this time. They're going to actually fly into the
Yeah.
infrastructure and blow up the power core or something in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So so piece of cake, right?
Yeah, easy to do it. Yeah,
Nah, not piece of cake at all.
Yeah.
See, Han and Leia and a number of Rebel Alliance guys, they're assigned to go down to Endor to find the
generator
battle
thing.
station, guys, and blow it up there.
To get rid of the force field.
And in order for the other rebels to destroy the main Death Star. Easy, not so easy.
So Lando Calrissian is with the other guys.
Yeah,
and they're going to appear there in a couple of hours'
yeah.
time or something
Lando
or
is
other.
made into a general, I think.
General
So
Calrissian.
he's
What a
gonna,
great
so
name.
he's going to be flying into battle against the Death Star and all that stuff.
He's the leader of the... is it a leader? Yeah,
Yeah.
leader of the attack squad or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they then start getting everything assembled, and Luke goes along with them, and they also have one of the Imperial shuttles they stole.
Yeah, they stole one, and they made it look like a cargo one or something or other, and they stole a code from an Imperial code, so they can use that to get through the force field to go down to the planet. How's that? Pretty good?
Yeah, well, or to get past the enemy Death Star and the Star Destroyer.
To get down the planet.
Because if they see their shuttle, they'll probably
blow it out of the sky.
They'll probably blow it out of the sky if they don't do it so well. So anyway, so everyone gets assembled. Han tells Lando to take Millennium Falcon to fight in the battle. Of course, he's a little bit. I feel
he thinks he's not going to see his little spaceship ever again.
Oh well, at least she's going to go out in the blaze of glory.
Well, she doesn't go out anyway. She comes back home.
Eventually,
like a homing pigeon.
So Luke, Han, and Leia, they get onto the small little shuttle thingy, and then they make their plans on getting it. Anyway. They start flying it off, and eventually they head off down to the start to Endor.
They get let through. The code works okay, but Darth Vader senses that Luke may be with them.
Yeah, because Luke kind of senses Darth Vader on the
I shouldn't have come. I'm putting this mission in jeopardy or something rather. Yeah, something groovy like that.
Yeah, he does. He feels like he should have not come because the Darth Vader may sense him, because he probably knows his essence from anyone else's essence. And when
it's not my cat knows me.
Yeah. And for a time we think that there may be no chance that the world will be let through, but then they finally say you can continue on your present course, and Han says fine, we just got through, but I don't think it was that easy.
It was too easy. And didn't Leia say that?
Yeah.
That was too easy.
Yeah. Anyway, they get onto Endor. Yeah. Endor is this beautiful, lush forest area.
Whatever.
And it's beautiful. And
full of bears. Oh,
well, we won't go there yet. Anyway, soon enough, they find a few scouts, stormtrooper scouts. Yeah. And Han makes a point of taking Chewie to encounter them. And, of course, Luke tells them quietly there might be more of them. And Han says, hey, it's me.
Yeah, right. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, even Leia and Luke roll their eyes.
Here we go again. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Can you see my eyes rolling? No.
Yeah. Of course, Han steps on a twig, I think, maybe.
Was it Chewie or Han? One of them does. Han, yeah.
And they quickly encounter the troops, and Leia and Luke, they quickly see two more, and they were getting on their speeders, and they quickly chase after them on another speeder.
Yeah.
And this is where it really gets really fun, using the speeder bikes, going right through the forest.
And actually, I'll stop there. They had the second unit crew go out into this forest area that they did the filming. There was a pathway there, and they actually went down there using a Steadicam, doing a very, very slow frame rate. Let's say it was 1 frame per second or something rather, and he was walking down the pathway with the Steadicam on, and then you played it back at the right rate of 25 frames per second or whatever. It looked like they're doing about 120 miles an hour.
Very cool.
Not bad, hey? Smart. Very innovative.
So anyway, Luke eventually knocks out one of the speeder guys and knocks him off his speeder, and they quickly chase after the
Needless to say, they kill off the stormtroopers. However,
they get separated, and Leia is on a different part of the forest, while Luke is on another. And Luke eventually does return to Han and Chewie, and they go in search of Leia, while the rest of the rebel troops, head off to where the shield generator is.
The shield generator, that thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Leia is still, lying in the undergrowth, and she encounters Little Wicket the Ewok.
He's cute, little teddy bear.
Yeah, he's so adorable. At first, he doesn't really want to associate with Leia. He sees him as a big threat.
And she's also bigger than him.
And then,
Big.
but then she eventually calms him down by giving him something to eat, and he eventually.
Stomach loyalty. Listen, my cat.
Yeah, I certainly like little Wicked. He's adorable.
Yeah.
Anyway, but then Wicked sensed something in the woods, like he could smell something.
Yeah. Got a good sense of smell and hearing and stuff.
Then we hear a blaster
Yeah.
coming out of the woods. We don't see anyone, but we can sense.
Yeah, there must have been a stormtrooper just across the way.
Yeah. Quickly, Leia and Wicked jump out of sight, but we still don't see anyone. And then there's another laser blast shoots past, and then Leia continues looking, and then a stormtrooper appears behind her and takes away her weapon. Of course, Wicked is out of sight, and then eventually, thanks to Wicked's quick thinking, he was able to help her disarm both stormtroopers. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he offers to help her, try to, guide her through the woods.
Yeah.
Of course, it's really cute, that part.
Yeah, but he takes her back to his little village up amongst the trees. Yeah. That's very nice.
Anyway, meanwhile, back on the Death Star, Darth Vader approaches his Emperor and tells him about how the small rebel force who was on the shuttle have penetrated Endor. And he says, "My son is with them." And the Emperor says, "Are you sure about this?" And he says, "I have felt his presence." And he says,
You would think the Emperor could have felt it too if he's that bloody
yeah,
good,
he says, "Strange that I have not. Are you And he wonders, "Are your feelings on this matter are clear, Lord Vader?" And he says, "They are clear." And he says, "Then you must go to the Endor planet and wait for him there." And he says, "He will come to me," in that astonished voice. And then
I have foreseen it. So he just contradicted himself.
Yeah, he says his compassion for you will be his undoing. He will come to you, and you will bring him before me. And Darth Vader says, "As you wish."
Oh, he loves him.
No, not that kind of
That
wish.
was our Princess Bride, wasn't it?
Nope.
As you wish, he said.
Anyway,
I love you.
Then we get back to Endor. Luke discovers Leia's helmet. She kind of moved it while...
The head wasn't in it, thank you.
Yeah, and he gives it to Han, and they assume the worst. And then Chewie smells something and finds a dead animal on a tree.
Yeah, been hung up on a tree or something, or a stick. And he comes there to look at it, and he's attracted to the food because he's a bit peckish.
Yeah.
He's a big fellow. He hasn't had his cornflakes or anything.
And then, as he's grabbing for it, then a trap springs into action.
And they all get netted.
Literally.
Yeah, like a big cargo net type thing.
Of course, as they were struggling, R2-D2 uses his metal arm with a saw blade on it to cut through the ropes.
A little rotary saw thingy on it, like a rotary saw,
Yeah, like a pizza saw.
Cut straight through it, it's out there and falls
down.
Yeah,
I like it when C-3PO says, "R2, I'm not sure that's a good idea. I think it's a very long jump."
And everyone dropped out, and they're laying down there, and all these little Ewoks come along and go, whatever, and they take him prisoner.
Yeah, except for C-3PO, they assume that C-3PO, his gold image, is a golden god.
He must be a god. He doesn't look anything like a human being.
Yeah, of course, he speaks their language or speaks a similar dialect, and able to communicate with them really well.
And they think and he gets very embarrassed because they think I'm a deity.
Yeah, and of course, Han says, "Why don't you use your divine influence and get us out of this?"
He says, "I can't do that. It's against my programming to impersonate a deity."
Yeah, Luke giggles and thinks this is funny, but Han doesn't
see the funny side of it. No.
Yeah, he tries to threaten C-3PO, but then the little Ewoks, they don't like this, and so they want to kill Han and Luke in a bit of a barbecue.
Well, guess who's coming to dinner?
Yeah, so later that night they're at the at the Ewoks village, and they make plans on barbecuing Han, Chewie, and Luke, and along with R2-D2, I think.
Well, I'd like to see someone chew through him. He's made out of metal. Yeah.
Anyway,
garbage tin.
Leia arrives dressed in
normal clothes again. Well, yeah, her hair's down. Looks quite attractive, actually.
Yeah, and
no makeup though.
Yeah, Leia tries to ask C-3PO to let the others go free, but of course, the Ewoks still don't listen. Eventually, Luke suggests 3PO, tell them if you don't do as you wish, you'll be angry and use your magic.
What magic, Luke?
Yeah,
Luke,
he says this, and eventually, Luke using his force powers levitates C-3PO
across
above.
the compound. Yeah. And all scared, and they let the prisoners go, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he tells the story about how they got there.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. There's a lot of sound effects.
And he's talking in their language, making the sound effects. It's really good. And considering these Ewoks haven't heard of radio and TV, it was really good entertainment that night.
Yeah. Remember what in the first one we discussed that in New Hope, he says he's a bit of an interpreter. He's not good at storytelling, but it seems quite good.
They were riveted. Wow.
Yeah, and after the story was concluded, the Ewoks talked a bit, and eventually the head priest of the
or witch doctor or something, or the chief, or
finally
whatever.
says, "We are now making you guys honorable members of our tribe."
Honorary, not honorable.
Honorary
Honorary.
members of our tribe, and eventually the Ewoks celebrate, and they're offered to help the.
And they didn't have any food to eat because now the food's part of the tribe.
Yeah,
That's
and some of the Ewoks are offered to help Han and the rebels to guide them to the shield generator.
Yeah, they knew it was on the other side of the mountain.
Yeah.
Had a back entrance.
Luke, while all the celebration is happening, Luke quickly disappears into
and lets himself get caught so he can.
Before we get to that, he then Leia follows him out, and she asks him what's wrong, and he goes on to say that asks her about her mother and all that stuff, asking about what was she like and stuff like that.
He can't remember his mummy. Aww.
Yeah, and he then goes on to say that Vader is here, and the more he stays here, the more danger that he'll be putting everyone else in if he stays.
Exactly. And then he lets the cat out of the bag, saying, Darth Vader is my father.
Yeah,
and he says, the force is strong in my family. My father has it. I have it.
My sister
has it.
Yes, Leia is his sister, obviously. And she...
See the funny feelings you had an idea already? And
yeah,
lovely.
And then she says...
Wasn't a total surprise.
And Lucas tells her that I must face him. And of course Leia says...
No, run away.
Yeah, she says run away, leave, but don't... And all that stuff, but she just doesn't feel it right that he has to confront him.
Why should he snuff it?
Of course, Luke says that it's his only chance of probably saving his father and probably from the dark side.
Exactly.
He says he'll have to try. So he kisses Leia goodbye, and then he heads on his way. And then he does get caught by the upside.
Well, he makes himself get caught. He puts himself in a position where he would meet the stormtroopers and they'll take him into custody.
Yeah, meanwhile, Darth Vader arrives at the shield generator on the landing pad, and he then meets Luke there, and his sergeant or orderly, whatever his name is, tells him that this is a rebel that surrendered to us. He denies it, but I think there are more of them, meaning Luke made out that he was the only one there.
Why myself?
Of course.
She hasn't got any friends.
Of course, he hands him over Luke's lightsaber to Darth Vader, and then we get a little bit of a brief conversation between Darth Vader and Luke, where he says, "The Emperor is expecting you," and
I
Luke's,
know, Father.
Yeah, and and Darth Vader now knows that his son's accepted the truth and all that stuff. And of course, Luke says, "I accept the truth that you were once Anakin Skywalker, my father." And of course,
the really cool dude.
And Darth Vader says that name is no longer has any meaning for me. Of course, Luke says, "It's the name of your true self. You've only forgotten. I know there is true. There's good in you. The Emperor hasn't driven it from you fully."
I can feel the conflict.
Yeah, of
course.
There
is no conflict, my son.
That was much later.
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, Luke tries to persuade him to come with him and become good again. But Darth
It's too late
Vader's
for me.
yeah, and
I
eventually
must obey.
yeah, and Luke says that my father is truly dead, and so they head
That's
off.
really hurtful remark, that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
then as he's escorted away by some stormtroopers, Darth Vader stands alone, probably thinking about their conversation. I think I'd like
I
to
missed
think
all those birthdays and Christmas.
not that way. I think
oh,
he was
sorry.
thinking about of giving, maybe even giving up the dark side, and maybe even
Retiring,
Anyway, back to the present. Meanwhile, sorry
She's
about that.
coughing. I won't edit that part out.
So
We did warn you.
later the next morning, the rebels on Endor, they then start their going to the shield generator, and some of the Ewoks are there, and they tell them about a secret entrance on the other side of the bridge, meaning that they could probably use the back door.
Yeah, not bad. It's less guarded. Because no one knows where it is. Like, who else is on the planet who's going to even care?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
Of course, there are a few...
Could have been an emergency exit in case of the fire.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a few guards there, which will not be too much of a difficulty. But fortunately, one of the Ewoks decides to become a hero, decides to steal one of the speeders, which he does. And then some of the stormtroopers, chase after that one. It was very clever how that worked. And eventually, they were able to enter the back entrance and start heading down into it, obviously.
Yeah, and I said little bombs that go off and little things. And
Eventually, before we get to that,
man.
we then cut to Luke being, arriving at the Death Star with Darth Vader, and he approaches the Emperor, and the Emperor welcomes him warmly and takes away his handcuffs.
You won't need those.
Yeah, assuming that he plans on him strangling him. I don't think he will have the gore to do that.
I would. I'll do it to you.
Of course, he goes on to saying that Darth Vader will not return from the dark side, and so it's Luke's turn to be turned to the dark side, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, Luke says, "You're wrong. Soon I'll be dead, and you with me," in a sarcastic tone.
Yes, he does.
Of course, the Emperor reveals that both the rebels on Endor and the rebels that are in the sky
are walking into a trap.
meaning that meaning he was the one who allowed the rebels to know the location of the shield generator
And everything else.
Yeah, so it's no secret.
Yes, so there's lots of couple of groups of guards and troops down on the little moon or planet, and some spaceships and fighters are just on the other side of the Death Star or the other side of the moon, waiting to come around to attack the other guys when they show up. Not a bad strategic plan. Strategy.
Yeah. So anyway, we cut to Endor. The Han, Leia, they approach the bunker, and they're about to set some detonators, but then they get caught, just as the Emperor predicted, and all that stuff. But what did he not? What he didn't predict? Well, the Ewoks. The Ewoks, after the rebels got eventually caught, the Ewoks jump into action and fought against
with their little primitive ways, throwing rocks, spears, bows and arrows, and
lassoing one of these speeders.
Yeah, around a leg and tripping it over. Yeah, it's little things. Yeah, really great.
Some of the stuff may have been a bit primitive, but the other stuff turned out to be very useful.
The thing was, they weren't there to fight and kill the stormtroopers. They were there to be a diversion, so the rebels could actually be a bit more effective. Yeah. It's because when you fight, it's like when you go to a picnic and you're trying to fight the ants and the mosquitoes and everything. Mm-hmm. You're not concentrating on eating or talking, and you're concentrating on killing the flies and the mosquitoes. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Even though some of the stuff doesn't work out. Meanwhile, up in the sky, where the rebels are fighting the Death Star, they are going through tragedy because they have too many fighters fighting against them, and the Star Destroyers that they're lined up in a row are blocking them from escaping.
Yeah, and they can't get through to any. They're sort of trapped in there because the shield generator is still up, and they're being knocked off one at a time. During battle.
Yeah, the Emperor tells Luke that this will be the end of the Rebel Alliance and the end of this your significant rebellion, all that stuff.
All will be mine.
Yeah, he's trying to aggravate and anger Luke. You know, to
making snap.
Yeah, but luckily Luke tries to keep calm and tries to hope that the rebels will win against the Emperor and all that stuff. But when things were starting to turn bad, he then finally springs into action, grabs his lightsaber, and starts attacking the Emperor. But luckily enough, Darth Vader was able to block him.
Not bad for an fella.
And the Emperor laughs gleefully. Meanwhile, back on Endor, some things have turned bad from worse, but then dear old Chewie and a couple of Ewoks suggest that they use one of the walkers to jump on it and eventually take control of it.
Yeah, got rid of the stormtroopers out, and Chewie was driving it.
Yeah. Eventually, they were able to also use boulders and stuff and logs to crush the others. It was really
make
cool.
Them fall over and stuff, and Anyway, irrespective, with the help of the Ewoks, they secure the bunker and they blow the bloody thing up. Hence, the shield generator goes down.
Yeah. Now this... before we get to that, eventually...
Well, I was trying to get you moving along in the story.
Han has a difficult time trying to open the door for some time because he tries to get R2 to possibly open the door, but doesn't work out. So he tries to hotwire it like it was a car, and every time he thought he got it, but then
he closed the door.
No, a new door was closed on it.
Closed a new door on you. Whoops.
Then Leia nearly gets shot, and then eventually Han comes up with this brilliant new plan. He uses the Walker thing, and I guess he dresses up one of the other members of the Rebel Alliance to send a message to the bunker to tell them a false message by saying the Rebel Alliance is, losing, so that means we need extra soldiers to help them in their pursuit.
Exactly.
So they send out some more soldiers.
So they open the door, don't they?
Yeah, and this allows them to get inside and set off a few detonators.
Whoopee!
Eventually, it booms up, and this gives them, the Allies, a chance to destroy the Death Star. Anyway, meanwhile, back inside of the Death Star, Luke fights Darth Vader as best he can, and he nearly gets, he nearly comes close to defeating him a little bit. Of course, Luke kept saying to Darth Vader that, "I'm not going to fight you, Father." But Darth Vader says, then he says, "It is unwise for you to lower your defenses." So he continues sweeping his lightsaber at him.
And then he makes some slag off mark about, well, if you won't do it. No, the Emperor said it.
No, he says, "Your thoughts betray you, Father. I feel the good in you, the conflict, all that stuff."
But then he mentioned something about your sister.
Yeah, when they were alone in the darkness, after Luke falls off in the off a thingy wing, I'm not sure what it is, and he ends up in the behind the throne, and he hides there, and Darth Vader begins mocking and saying that if you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps your sister will. And then Luke springs into action and starts attacking viciously.
Yeah. And he's really wearing the old bugger out. Old Darth Vader ain't a young man anymore.
Yeah, and eventually Luke was able to strike him really hard and break cut through his own hand and cut and break it off. Eventually, we see wires protruding off his hand, indicating that Darth Vader had also had a
few pieces removed and replaced over the years.
Then the Emperor laughs joyfully and says that your hate has made you powerful. Now take your father's place at my side. Of course, Luke looks at his own hand, and then he looks at his dad's, and then he tosses his weapon aside and says, "Never, I'll never join the dark side." And he says, "You fail, Your Highness. I am a Jedi.
As my father was before me."
And then the Emperor looks at Luke and says, "So be it, Jedi."
So he tries to kill little Luke using some sort of electricity coming out of his fingers.
Eventually, Darth Vader, he finally stands up, and he stands by his Emperor's side and watches his son slowly getting killed. And he then looks at the Emperor and looks at Luke, and then he says no, and he said and yells no. And
actually, I don't think that no word was in the original.
No,
cut.
this was added, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it was after when they did
the digital remastering and everything.
After the digitally remastering, and when they did the third last movie. I think it was similar to their latest book. The latest book revealed a bit of details into Darth Vader's past and a little bit.
Anyway,
and
he says no. Picks up the Emperor.
Yeah, he picks up the Emperor. He hurls him over into a pit.
A reactor tube.
Yeah, a reactor tube.
And it goes boom.
It went boom.
So we like to think that the Emperor's no more.
We think.
No, well, he does show up in a later movie, but we think he was cloned, don't we?
I think that that one that may have fell down the tube may have been a clone.
Yeah.
That's my only guess, because that explains why he's aged a lot in the ninth movie. I'm not sure.
I think I'm a clone now.
But again, I'm not going to talk about those ones.
We're moving right along.
I don't want to talk about the new ones.
We're going to run out of time. Come on.
Anyway, eventually Luke pulls his dad, away from the pit, the thingy wing, and
he's not feeling well because he got major electric shocks and everything too, and that's and he's the life support system in his bio suit is failing, and he got some damage to him and stuff.
Yeah.
He ain't got much time left.
Yeah. Then, meanwhile, the Millennium Falcon and a number of the Rebels ships, they start going inside the Death Star and start making plans to destroy it completely. Yep. They finally also destroyed a few of the Star Destroyers along the way, especially the main one, the big one.
Yeah.
It was really cool how that one was destroyed. It was just a spaceship just crashes into it.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool.
Well, they had no generator to make the force field anymore, so they were they weren't protected either.
Oh, yeah. It was hilarious. It was not hilarious.
No, the own reactor went down. That's right. Yeah, you got some damage,
Yeah.
Carry on.
Anyway,
we're running out of time.
So anyway, Millennium Falcon and a few of the X-Wings, they quickly go inside it. All the time they're being chased by some TIE fighters and other fighters chasing after them all the time. Yep. Of course, as they get closer and closer to the final place to destroy the Death Star, it begins to get smaller and smaller as they go.
Yeah, they just get it. It's like those computer games you get when you're sort of going through an infrastructure and you got to go sideways and stuff and get around. Yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
it's based on the Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, all the stormtroopers and the staff from the Death Star, they quickly evacuate their places and quickly make a scuffle to the nearest exits.
Yeah, I think they're a bit scared.
Yeah, meaning that they no longer have the Emperor. There's no longer Darth Vader. So now
they're no longer on the payroll. They're not getting paid. No overtime, no nothing. Let's go home. Yeah.
And Luke quickly tries to drag his father's remains to his nearest shuttle, but unfortunately, Darth Vader is really heavy.
And he wasn't very well. He says. He's been eating too many pizzas and burgers and stuff.
Then he asks Luke to remove his helmet.
It's really funny that.
Why?
Luke could have used the Force to float him.
Maybe.
He wasn't that strong to the Force.
Anyway, Darth Vader then tells him to remove his helmet, and because he wants to look on his son
with his own eyes
before he dies.
Yeah, with his own eyes.
Yeah.
Instead of using it through he must have some television camera thing in his helmet. Yeah.
So he wants to see his son's face before he dies. Yeah. And so he removes the helmet and removes his mask.
And there's Humpty Dumpty. No.
You not be rude.
Oh, well, you got no hair. He's bald, round face.
It couldn't be helped. Remember what happened in the third movie? He got very badly burnt.
I know.
So don't be rude.
Humpty. He gets really burnt down this too.
Anyway, he then after he removes the helmet, he then tells Luke to go. But Luke says, I can't leave you, Father. I got to save you. But he says, you already have.
My son.
And he says, you're right, and you tell your sister, you were right. And then he dies.
A deathbed confession and conversion and stuff. He's gone back to the good side.
But then he Luke quickly gets his dad on the board the spaceship, and he gets off there.
He gets off his father. That sounds a bit rude, doesn't it?
No, yeah.
Anyway.
Meanwhile, the Millennium Falcon does eventually get to the final destruction bit, to the Death Star. They blow it up, and then they shoot out of there as like a bat out of hell.
Yeah, that's a good song. Out of bat out of hell, I'm going when the morning comes. Sorry.
All right, time.
No, she's coughing. Just talk amongst yourselves a minute. I was going to edit it out, but she's not dying yet.
Okay, I'm back.
She's back. See?
So
Oldie was sick.
So the Star Destroyer booms. It's all destroyed, and we could see it from Endor, and all the Ewoks cheer and say that they did it. And Han and Leia look up
so
at
all
the
the
sky.
stormtroopers down on Endor are being terminated one way or another.
Yeah, and anyway, Han and Leia have a special moment where Han asks, "I'm sure Luke would be all right since."
And Leia says, "No, he's okay."
She could feel him.
He said, "You love him, don't you?" She says, "Of course I do."
And
said,
of course,
I won't stand in your way then.
Mm-hmm. Of course, she says, "It's not like that. Luke is her brother." And Han is like,
Huh? And then he goes, "Oh, the penny dropped. Oh!" And he smiles and gives her a big kiss.
Yeah.
Or two.
Then we hear the trumpet soar.
And the crappy music starts.
And then we cut to the dead of night where
the big party,
where Luke is cremating his father.
Oh, that's right. He's got a funeral pyre type thing there. He's got Darth Vader laying there in state, ready to be incinerated.
Aye, cremate is better.
Well, and I'm quite funny. And now you think about it.
Okay.
Ben Kenobi disappeared and joined the Force. Yoda disappeared and joined the Force. Anakin Skywalker had to do it the hard way.
Don't be rude. Don't be senile.
Well, they had to burn his body up.
Anyway, back to the story. As the flames go overhead, we then cross over to Cloud City, who's having their own separate celebration.
And other places, and probably
Tatooine, Naboo, which doesn't make sense, and Coruscant, which we've never even seen before till now, which we'll probably see in episode 1, obviously.
In the sequels, the prequels, whatever,
yeah. They're all having their separate celebrations, and then we cross back to Endor, where the Ewoks are celebrating their with the rebels.
I didn't see any kegs.
What?
Beer.
Doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. Anyway, they play music. It's awesome. Everyone's dancing.
There you want music.
Yeah. And everyone is hugging and joyfully embrace and all that stuff. And while Luke is, among his friends, he also sees Obi-Wan, Yoda, and his father's ghost watching.
In the original movie, you had the older guy playing Anakin Skywalker to spit. In the remake, after they did the prequels, they put the young guy, I can't remember his name at the moment, Hayden, something like that. They put Hayden in there. The young guy. I get it. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, they changed it. So, I don't know why. But I guess they thought it makes for a good story. Obi-Wan was old, and Yoda was old, but they made a young Anakin. What can you do? I don't know. I mean, it would have been left, the old guy would have been nice. Anyway, so as Luke is watching the ghosts, Leia pulls him aside and asks him to join the rest of the group, and then they continue celebrating, and then we fade to black. Then the end. And the usual music. The Star Wars music goes in and have about 15 minutes of credits. No. Not that many, but it seems to go on forever, just like the movie. I gotta admit, I do like the two separate ending songs in the... Yeah, the original one was a bit more tribal, and the other one was a bit more orchestral, but... Yeah. I like Whatever. That. I thought it was pretty nostalgic. Teddy bear music. Anyway. Mike doesn't like it, but I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm a semi-professional news now. I thought, it was okay, but could have done better. But I guess the newer one was pretty cool, including the extended footage of the different planets celebrating the end of the Emperor's ruling, all that stuff. That sort of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Now, because Sarah talks so long and I can never get her to shorten her spiels. I don't have much time to talk about anything else. So, well, I'll make it as quick as I can.
Good one.
Production notes. They made the movie. Now, is that short?
Yeah, that's close enough.
No, well, the same thing. I mean, George Lucas and his writer together, and they kicked the can around and figured out some good ideas for the thing, and they wrote the thing up, obviously. And they had a few ideas.
Didn't you say when we were before we were reviewing this that something about that Luke might have they didn't go for the nice good ending here. Luke would have gone on to becoming a evil bad guy in the story, and they would have continued on with that sort of story for a couple more episodes after this.
Who's that?
I think it was implied that Luke was if if they went with the nice good ending here, Luke would have would have been. No,
there was an alternate that they were thinking about earlier on. That, everyone was going to die, and Luke was going to be last man standing.
That would be terrible.
Like Darth Vader would be dead, Han would be dead, maybe Leia might be dead. Yeah, and I don't know, but he's going to walk away from the battle. And that's it. He's the last one there. Yeah. Like the spaghetti westerns where the lone gunfighter walks off or rides off in the sunset. Yeah, I had that sort of idea.
I'm kind of glad they didn't do that in the end.
Well, the point is, look, you want a happier ending for these sort of things. They are, technically speaking, these are family movies. You don't want all the good people to die. You want to leave a couple of them hanging around. You can lose a couple of good Ewoks.
I gotta admit though, guys, I did like the Ewok ending where they're all celebrating. It's a far more better ending than the one they had in the 9th installment. More than I know that I'm not a fan of the 9th installment, but it just didn't have anything that clicking into place in that one. Sorry,
we're not reviewing that.
I know.
Now I have to a couple of production things here. Early in the piece, when he's putting this one together, Lucas's first choice as director was Steven Spielberg.
Ooh.
However, there had been a few feuds with the Directors Guild, which led him from being banned from the film.
Gee, that's nice.
Oops. Lucas approached David Lynch. You know who David Lynch is? Mm-hmm. Eraserhead. And subsequently he did Elephant Man, I think Mulholland Drive, and some other good movies. Now the point is, I get the feeling that he didn't want to get into it for one reason or another. He declined. No, he had to make something else maybe. No, he didn't have any interest in doing that sort of a project. Then there was David Cronenberg was offered it, and he had some other movies to make, Videodrome and the Dead Zone. So it sort of went on and on and on and on, and he eventually chose Richard Marquand.
I see.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good process to go through. You say the best guy, okay, the second best guy, and you said for a guy who can also put out the goods.
Oh, by the way, guys, originally the title to this movie was Revenge of the Jedi, but the producers thought that Jedis wouldn't seek revenge.
No, they don't.
That's not part of their ethnic code. Some posters and theatre stage ups were made earlier, but they quickly pulled when they title changed names.
Yeah.
Also, Star Trek, the second movie, The Wrath of Khan, was originally to be called Star Wars: The Wrath of Khan, but the title for that movie was changed to avoid confusion with this movie back then. So the Revenge of the Jedi was being considered at the time, but they decided to go for Return of the Jedi. So that one fits, but they still use that title, Revenge of the whatever, for Revenge of the Sith in the, let me see, that would have been the third movie, obviously, wouldn't you say?
Yep. Anyway, another couple of things here. George Lucas, he did some second unit camera work on this one.
Cool.
Saved a little bit of time. And he also did camera B sometimes to help out.
That's cool.
So, when you've got a good hands-on approach, it's great. And I think Richard Marquand thought it was sort of like doing a Shakespearean movie with William Shakespeare hanging around in the next room watching you. So something like that.
Oh, by the way, guys, fake scripts were distributed to some cast members that were considered likely to leak information to the media. Some of those phony stories elements were indeed leaked, such as Lando being revealed as the last hope for the Jedi mentioned by Obi-Wan and Yoda in Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
Again, guys, this was probably the second. I mean, not the first time some information like this is leaked to the press.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one time when they were doing the new Star Wars movies, the ones like The Force Awakens, all that stuff. There was a script that was leaked to that one of the cast, I'm not going to mention names, accidentally left his script in his hotel room, and that said person was tempted to auction that very script off to the highest bidder. Could you imagine that? And so, luckily enough, the people in the production were able to get to it before the information leaked. As I said before, guys, you have to be careful what you do with your scripts.
We are running out of time here.
I'm just saying, guys.
I'm running out of time.
If you guys out there have extra scripts on hand, be sure to keep them close. Do not keep them lying around on your bed or on your side of your table.
They didn't say which person left it in their room, but obviously it wasn't one of the main people, I wouldn't think. Anyway.
No, actually, it was one of the main people.
Don't say Harrison Ford.
But no, I said it was a new...
Oh, newbie.
The new... sequels I mentioned, the old ones.
Okay, yeah. Anyway,
so it's technically their fault.
Anyway, okay. I won't say too much more because we're running out of time here. So I'll go straight into critical responses. I love them. Critical responses generally favourable. A couple of knuckleheads really have got no idea what the franchise is about, so I'm not even going to worry about them. But generally, it's average or above average to good. To great, whatever. So most of the reception was good and positive, except for two knuckleheads who really haven't got a clue. I do not know why they are reviewing these sort of movies if they don't really understand them.
If they don't like sci-fi, don't watch it.
Where is one here? I'll see if I can find one of them.
Yeah, we didn't...
and I won't mention their name. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. Nah, I can't find it. It's a really, really ridiculous one. I can't say where this person coming from. They're an idiot. Nah, can't find it. But they got no idea. Really? Oh, yeah, well, bad one.
Okay, here's a bad one. Are you sure it's a bad one, or is it...
Here he goes. I won't mention winner. By far the dimmest adventure of the lot, and stated the joys of watching space battles are envisioned by wizards in studios and laboratories are not inexhaustible, which means it was getting boring.
Oh, brother.
It wasn't boring. Crikey, most other people said it was satisfying or really, really good. There's another one here. Okay, some of the trick effects might seem miraculous if the imagery had any luster, but Return of the Jedi is an impersonal and rather junky piece of movie making.
Well, your junky review is junky.
And these people obviously have got no idea what it's about, or probably don't enjoy a good sci-fi. And honestly, I look at this, and I look at other movies, say a decade or two before, like The Terror from Beyond Space and all that sorts of good movies. They were crap compared to this sort of stuff. And they're junking them? Oh, come on. I mean, if you're going to be a troll, don't get paid good money. Let somebody else actually do a good critique.
Well...
a good, fair, well-balanced critique.
Well, when you look at Return of the Jedi, it has everything in it. I mean, I know I said this about all three of the Star Wars movies, but there is something for everyone in them.
The point is,
Like if you're into pirates, there's pirates in it. If there's
Look,
cowboy stuff,
there
is cowboys.
You got your sci-fi.
You have your sci-fi.
You got your
you
action,
have your fantasy. You have
your action, adventure, a bit of love interest. The whole lot's in there, and it's a good, I'd say, family entertainment. It's not blood and guts all over the place like a slasher movie. You can't take the kids to see a good slasher movie. I'll tell you right now, they'll never sleep. When I was younger than 12, my dad took me to pictures back in the 60s, and I saw Psycho.
Hear that, guys?
And I was a kiddie. I didn't have a shower ever again.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
Yeah, he would have smelled really bad.
Oh, no, bath. Yeah, but the point is, they didn't have the
I get it.
the classifications in place to you. You can take your kid to see anything, and they didn't say, this was PG or 18 plus or whatever. And my dad took me to it. Hey, Dad had a great time watching this person being slashed up in the shower and everything. So I was a little kiddie. Anyway,
Anyway,
old Dad. Yeah.
Anyway,
right,
guys, I do think this one. I do think that when you look at Star Wars, it's pretty cool. I mean, especially the mixture of things, the different places they visit.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of just ordinary planets with just like people depict planets back in the olden days as just lots of places with mountains on it.
Yeah, well,
but in this one,
that's what I was saying before. But the older sci-fis were like science fiction dramas. There was a little bit of storyline, a little bit of action, maybe a little bit of this. But it was almost like a sci-fi drama.
True.
There wasn't much going on.
True.
They didn't have the special effects or the skills to make the way we make them now. There's so many good old sci-fis which had nothing going for them, but still a good movie. Then you had something like Forbidden Planet comes along and changes the game.
It did.
And other things like, crikey, there's another match. Got a mental block at the moment.
I have a mental block too.
I've got too many old movies in my head.
But I go
this came along about a decade or so later, and people say, nobody wants to see a sci-fi anymore. Well, sorry. This just breathed new life back into an old corpse, and it worked really, very, very good, if not better, than the original ones.
I would like to see. I don't know what type of. I would like to some kind of new film that would bring back new life to another
genre.
I mean, another old genre.
Well, you look at the old things. Okay,
I don't know.
when I was a kid. Back in the 50s.
Okay, I'm getting it.
Late 50s. I was watching early 60s and that period. I was watching older movies, the old film noirs and whatever. And when my mum and dad were at work, I watched all the adult programs. And I used to watch a lot of movies, and they were mainly dramas. Maybe suspense, mystery dramas, but they were dramas. You put those on now, people say it was boring because they're expecting more action and stuff. But the storylines in these and the mystery, the suspense, the writing, the production, the filming, they're still good. But people don't like to see them anymore. So
I'm wondering, though...
You have to reinvent the wheel for them a bit.
I wonder, what kind of genres out there that are considered dead at the moment? Well, I mean, for real.
Musicals, probably. And that's a good one. And when I say musical, I mean the old ones they make years and years ago, the big dance routines and water follies and that sort of stuff. Now, things have changed. Now, you can't get away with that too much anymore. Now, but you could get musicals like we had back in the 70s. We had Stone. That was a biker movie done in Sydney. And it had a little bit of chance to become a bikey movie type thing, but the guy who made that movie could not get the funding to make a bikey musical.
I see.
And the musical, would have been a bit like American Graffiti, where you had all this music playing in the background. And that's what people want to hear, maybe a bit more real life stuff with a good musical background like that, like George did in American Graffiti. That sort of stuff. It was probably a lot better towards a musical nowadays, or a biodrama based on a band, or like the Rocket Man or something or other, or the Freddie Mercury movie or something. Yeah, that sort of stuff. We got good music in it, or The Commitments, or The Boat That Rocked or something or other. where you got a good story, not just, hey, look, we're going to put stage production on, aren't we clever? Yeah, that stuff, that's old hat stuff. It's I don't think that'll work now. But the newer stuff, why not? Made some decent musicals. Phantom of the Opera, we saw about, what was it, Jared Butler, about 20 years ago?
Jared Butler, yeah.
About 20 years ago? That was great. I mean, that was fantastic. I like the early Phantom of the Operas, the Hammer ones and all the others. Claude Rains and all the others.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the Jared Butler one, that one was pretty much...
great. A good production.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, especially how they were able to make it exactly like the way it was in the actual musical.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we're going
back
well
to
over.
this.
We're going well overdue here. Yeah. Okay, plenty for sale on eBay, and it's rentable for Amazon, and they got them for sale as well. Probably better if you haven't got the franchise. Look for a box set where you might have the 3, 4, 5, and 6, or the whole lot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You might get a lot cheaper that way.
Yeah.
But still watch out for VHS copies. There might be some floating around. I'm giving this also a 10. Not because I like Star Wars so much, because George Lucas and his team did a fantastic job.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 10.5 out of 10. Because I do think this one is one of my favourites. And even when I was a little child, that was my absolute favourite of all the Star Wars movies.
Let's kill it. They're
anyway,
getting old.
it's more, and it's not just because it's my all-time favourite. It's because it has a good, solid conclusion to it. Unlike other ones who have been trying their hardest to make a good conclusion out of it.
These people are yawning now.
Anyway,
I can see them.
So I hope you guys enjoy this episode.
This was a long one, sorry. However,
but I wanted to make sure that this one would be memorable. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and be sure to check it out, as Mike said. And even make it sure that you get a whole selection.
Yeah, if you haven't got it, haven't seen it, watch them all. You go and rent them, whatever, or buy a box set. You can get them cheap enough.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to review 1, 2, 3 much later on. Maybe not this month, but maybe next.
We'll give it a break for.
We'll give it a break
for about a month or so. Yeah,
I'll give it a break for a couple of weeks or months.
No, about a month, and then there's some other topics. Then we go back in there and do 1, 2, and 3.
Anyway, thanks for watching listen to our latest episode, everyone, and be sure to check out our next one, which I haven't figured out what yet we're going to be reviewing just yet. So just be sure to keep listening.
We might do something old. We haven't done an old one for a while.
We'll see. Anyway, thanks for listening to our podcast, everyone. This is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying, see you guys next time on Boys and Ghouls Film Review.
Bye, guys.
Bye for now.